FIT360 are pleased to announce the launch of a new version of our design software called FITFOOT360. The first version introduced lots of dynamic capabilities to give you real-time control over the design, and version 2 takes it a step further by adding features that benefit people who are making shells, making EVA full-foot devices, positive molds, and many other things. First of all, we've added some new 3D printing capabilities, the ability to add your logo, the ability to add a pattern, to brand the bottom surface without compromising any of the clinical capabilities of the device. We're just dealing with the bottom surface. I could even put the patient reference and your name on the bottom too. It's important to keep the clinical aspects of the software strong. So we've added some more fitting capability for the midfoot fitting. So for total contact devices, we now have a shrink fit that enables the device not just to shrink onto the foot, but also to spring back to the original profile that you had, keeping a nice smooth result. We can also use the same shrink fit tool on full foot devices such as EVA or shells. Now for the at-risk foot, sometimes you might want to include the forefoot in the fitting. So there's a new tool now to remove the scan completely from the insole to give you total contact all the way through the device. Dimensional control is always very, very important. In version 1, we had these arrows that were very dynamic, so whenever you pulled the sliders, they would change in real time, but sometimes they can get in the way. So in V2, we've added a summary of our dimensions at the top of the screen. Now you can see the dimensions updating in real time without it overlaying on top of the design. We can also show a grid now. This is great for when you want to place pads or relief to known dimensions. But the real winner is the tape measure tool. You can measure the scan, the insole, or profiles to give you key dimensions. In this case here, we're looking at the midfoot width. You could use the same dimensioning tool to help you with pad placement when you're in the Surface Editions menu, giving you a lot more accuracy. In the past, we were asked by customers for the opportunity to design their own shapes. So we've now added a sculpting tool that enables users to be able to design their own relief or their own positive shapes. In this case here, they're designing a custom relief for a specific patient, but it could be a standard component that you want to use that is based upon your way of working, that you want to use time and time again. Why should you be restricted to a standard shape? One of the goals of our software is to remove, where possible, the need to do post operations after you've manufactured. For example, why would you grind a device after you've milled it or after you've printed it if you can do the grind work inside the design process? So we can grind the bottom surface. We can also grind skives onto extrinsic posts. These are all things that would normally be done after the part is manufactured. But with 3D printing and milling, the last thing you want to do is add processes after manufacture that are expensive and time consuming. Perhaps the biggest change in V2 is the ability to control the morphing plane. This allows you to decide how your intrinsic and extrinsic posts are going to work, or even your heel lift, by changing the position of the morphing plane along the device. The world of 3D printing is changing all the time, and the latest change has come about by the introduction of TPU materials. To prepare ourselves for that, we've now added the ability to put features on the bottom of full foot devices. Finally, we've added some new features to our engraving. Engraving can be used to add the patient name and reference into the bottom of an insole for printing or for milling. We've now also added the ability to put a logo in. So that just about wraps it up for V2. If you're interested in learning more, please do contact us using the email address below.